Over the years, I've had the pleasure of introducing Rabbi Jeff Stombaugh to this congregation many times. And I've already spoken about the great work that he does leading the well and serving the young adults of our community. I've spoken about his talent, his charisma. I've certainly spoken about the incredible gift that his wife Steph has brought to us and to our community. And we spent a lot of time speaking about Leo, so that's goes without saying. But as he goes off now to become the chief rabbi of Poughkeepsie, and I call him to the Bima for his final sermon here on the Bima at Temple Israel, I have just a 6-word introduction. Jeff, we will really miss you.
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom. It was June 4th in Ann Arbor, 1978. Not long after graduation, go blue, when my parents, Terry and Sue, got married at Temple Beth Emeth, borrowed Zeta's car, and drove west until they hit the water. That's how my sister and I came to be born and raised in the Pacific Northwest. My mother, Jewish, from Clayton, Missouri, and my father, not Jewish, from Garden City, Michigan. I asked my mom what it was that compelled them to drive west and leave everything behind. And she said it came down to my dad's sense of adventure. Coming from the executive director of The Well, this is young adulthood at its finest. Let's get out of here and have an adventure. 32 years later, I'd find myself at a similar crossroads. I'll never forget the awful Italian diner where my family sat after Dad's diagnosis of early onset Alzheimer's. I was preparing to apply to rabbinical school and move to Jerusalem. My sister was moving to Wisconsin, and my mom and dad were about to start a different adventure. And in that moment, when it would have been more than reasonable to have been asked to stay, Mom and Dad's message was clear. Don't stop living your life. If we needed to change our plans and be home, that was fine, but their happiness, his joy, would come from knowing that we were living fully, having our adventure. It was a blessing to go. Making homes away from home is in my DNA. Though it wasn't until a couple of weeks ago at coffee with a Well community member when it clicked that part of the reason why finding my people here felt effortless was because I grew up in a Michigan home in the Pacific Northwest. And making homes away from home is something that should ring true for all of us, because that is what it is to be in diaspora, to make a home away from our homeland. Home, I've learned, is on one hand, absolutely a place. It is where you're from, a place tied up with the roots of your story. And on the other hand, home is a way of being, where you connect with people who bring out your authentic best, where friends turn to family in a place absent from your rooted family. For me and Stephanie, that home for the past 5 years has been here in the Metro Detroit and at its center, the Well. Born 10 years ago from the vision of Rabbi Yedwab to be a disruptor in the young adult engagement landscape, the Well has raised the level of Jewish involvement for thousands of young Jews. When Rabbi Dan Horwitz, the Well's founding director, handed me the keys 5 years ago, he described it as a grand experiment, which I would say has been a success. Since day one, the Well has since welcomed over 6,500 unique participants, empowered over 275 young adult home hosts, worked with over 50 partners, and scaled our Friend Seder Passover program to 23 states, plus Canada. I'm deeply proud of the work we've done, and soon the well will come under the stewardship of a new director to continue this critical and sacred work of meeting young Jewish adults where they are, to raise the level of Jewish involvement in Jewish life and make friends. According to one of our bucket list members, our advisory board, the well functions as a kind of friend-making social service. Friendships are formed in backyards, around dinner tables, and living rooms, often with introductions that start with, "You don't know each other? You totally should." But because living rooms aren't always available and community third places don't hold up the same way after I arrived in the pandemic, the well leaned into partnerships, like with Zingerman's Delicatessen and the Friend Seder Community Brunch, powered by the well. This 4-year partnership was ultimately an overlap of vision and values through food and telling stories and making friends. Every year at the end of this brunch, we taught the following Torah from Pirkei Avot 1:6, which reads, "Oseh lecha rav vekoneh lecha chaver." Make for yourself a teacher and acquire for yourself a friend. Maimonides derives from that verse, which is honestly way less important than that. He teaches about 3 different levels of friendship. Level 1, friendship based on mutual benefit. You have something I want, I have something you want, friendship. Level 2, friendship based on pleasure and security. This level reflects a deeper kind of awareness of the other, emotional and intimate, and in a way that I feel safe with you and you with me. Level 3, friendship based on mutual responsibility. When we are friends on this level, we are invested in each other to the point that we redeem one another from loneliness and help one another access new freedoms and opportunities to know ourselves and the world around us better. What does it take to create a friendship based on mutual responsibility? How must we know each other? What must we share? How many degrees of separation must we have from one another? Yesterday, while packing the house and working and taking care of Leo, a well supporter and friend texted me to tell me that their family friend knew Yaron Lashinsky and Sarah Milgram personally. May their memory be a blessing. So by my math, that's 2 degrees of separation, a rooted story, and a shared place. Closeness, we are reminded, has very little to do with distance and everything to do with purposeful relationships, with friendship. And it's these friendships that have made our time here not just meaningful, but transformational, bringing us to the challenging question of how to say goodbye. Rabbi Eliezer Melamed writes in the Pearls of Halacha that when we say goodbye to a dear and beloved friend whom he does not want to leave, he escorts them to a distance in order to spend just a little more time with them. So too, we must escort Shabbat to its departure. Despite the fact that it's over, we continue to savor and delight in its holiness. Or put another way, so too, when someone departs, you must let them know you love them and how much they mean to you. And in that spirit, I'd like to take just a moment to offer some particular gratitudes. To the inner circle, the Wells Bucket List, our Young Adult Advisory Board, our champions and ambassadors, you are the force that raises the tide and creates intentional, welcoming, and accessible Jewish life for your peers in this community. You are the source of strength for both me professionally and personally, and I thank you. To Marissa Meyerson and the Wells staff, Joanna, Erica, Marnie, and from time to time, my wife Stephanie, it's completely true what they say, that a small group of thoughtful and committed individuals can change the world. Thank you for riding the highs and lows to make the magic happen. You are all miracle makers. To Rabbi Dan Horowitz, thank you for your guidance and friendship, the building of the foundation of this organization, and helping Steph and I meet the 5 best friends we didn't know we didn't have and never knew we always needed, and then some. And finally, to Rabbi Yedwab and the Temple Israel clergy, Michael, Neil, Jen, Marla, Josh, Paul, and Harold. More than you will ever know, you have inspired how I will forever approach this sacred work. You make excellence look easy. It is because of what I learned from each of you and being with you all together that I am able to explore these new opportunities at Vassar Temple. And to Rabbi Yedwab, special thanks to you for your vision and mentorship, and also Wendy for taking Steph and I in and making Metro Detroit our home. We thank you, we love you. In Torah this week, we close the book of Leviticus, Parshat Behukotai, and recite a blessing that's outside the text, that ushers us from one chapter to the next. Chazak, chazak, v'nid chazek. Be strong, and let us strengthen one another. So may it be, with this moment of transition, may we hold each other close, no matter how many miles between. May we keep connecting good people with good people. And may our friendships always move us from strength to strength. Shabbat shalom.